Formula One may have been absent from Mexico for 23 years, but after 2015's triumphant return, it was as if we'd never been away. In Mexico, a Grand Prix is more than just a race. It's a celebration of speed and of bravery. There's nothing quite like the atmosphere in the stadium today. They'll be drowning out the cars with their noise as they make their way through on lap 1. At 2,285 metres above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners make up a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, and you can expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking too into the hard braking zones of turns 1 and turn 4. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk briefly about Sebastian Vettel. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Force India in pole position then, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and Raikkonen, Bottas, Sirotkin, Ericsson, and Roman Grosjean. Sainz, Hülkenberg, Brendan Hartley, and Magnussen. They've taken a grid penalty. Verstappen, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Fernando Alonso. Leclerc and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well done, mate. Nice start. The energy store is approaching its wear limit. We will be forced to retire if we're not careful. Make sure to discharge your battery properly. Sergio is in P3. We're leading our teammate by 1.2 seconds. They're on fresh hypersofts. The time last lap was a 1:21.3. You're leading the pack, P1. Vettel is behind you, less than a second separate you. They're on old hypersofts. Pit window opens in 5 laps time, 5 laps, 32 laps to go. That's Sergio ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 1.4 seconds. You're losing around 7/10 a lap. They're on old Hypersofts. Their tyres are 7 laps old. We think they've got 2 stops remaining. The time last lap was a 1 minute 21.7. Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Sergio is in the pits. In this lap, push now. Some information on Ericsson. They have some kind of mechanical problem. Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap. Release, release. Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy. We're trailing our teammate by 20.5 seconds. You're in ninth position. Leclerc ahead. The gap is less than a second. They're on old ultra softs. Hulkenberg is behind you. Less than a second separate you. They're on old ultra softs. Okay, gap to leader, 20.3 seconds. Pit window will open in 10 laps time. Pit window opens in 10 laps. 22 laps to go. Nice work, that brings you up a place. Vettel is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 1.8 seconds. You're closing by 0.4 per lap. They're on old ultra softs. Their tyres are 10 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 21.4. Some information on Leclerc. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring. Yellow flag. Okay, gap ahead is 12.7 seconds. You have P5. Ricardo is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 3.7 seconds. They're on old ultra softs. Grosjean is behind you. The gap to the car behind is 2.8 seconds. They're on old ultra softs. Our gap to first place is 17.7 seconds. You have 4 laps till your pit window opens. 16 laps to go. Sergio is in for his stop. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. Exit now. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. The gap to the leader is 20.1 seconds. Vettel ahead. The gap to the car ahead is 2.6 seconds. They're on fresh super softs. Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 20.9. The gap behind us is 3.9 seconds. P7 now, P7. Vettel is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 2.2 seconds. They're on fresh super softs. Grosjean behind. Okay, the gap behind is 3.9 seconds. They're on fresh super softs. The distance to the leader is 20.0 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 11 laps to go. Battery charge is low. If we turn down the ERS deployment, we can harvest more energy. Hamilton is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 12.5 seconds. They're on old super softs. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:21.5. The turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum. We're in P4. Hamilton is ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 5.6 seconds. They're on old super softs. Bottas is behind you. Okay, the gap behind is 5.9 seconds. They're on old ultra softs. Our gap to first place is 14.2 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining. Okay, gap ahead is 6.2 seconds. This is your final lap of the race. Fantastic drive, and it means you're driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Brilliant stuff from Force India today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, that result also seals the World Drivers' title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Well, after a drive like that, it's got to be Max Verstappen, hasn't it? Very clean, very smooth. He can be really pleased with that one.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.